Do you guys remember, for the majority of this channel, when I didn't have all these scheduled reads and buddy reads, and it was just like, TBR, I would just like, what 7 books do I want to read? Well, February and March are my most scheduled and buddy readed ever, but I'm also happy to be a part of these. Let's get into it. You guys know I keep my TBR short, so what do I plan to read in the month of February? So, leading off, we have a book that I started a reread of in January, and I'm going through slowly on the side. It's a book you may have heard of. I think it sold a couple copies. Might have inspired some other books. I think it had movies by it, or like an adaptation. Something. Anyways, it's The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, with the writing of The Ring on the side. I'm reading it in this hardcover that I got over the holidays. And I'm really enjoying it quite a lot. I am right now in the second part of the Two Towers. And I think book 3, which is the first half of the Two Towers, is pretty easily my favorite. I do like Two Towers more than Fellowship, and I'm enjoying Two Towers right a lot. I think the character I have most improved is Gimli. I love Gimli, especially in like the second half of Fellowship. I mean, isn't in the first half of Fellowship. I was just saying I like Gimli in the second half of Fellowship and the first half of Two Towers. Those are the only parts he's in that I've gotten to. So, that's self-evident. I guess is he a little bit in part 1? Is the Council of Elrond in part 1, in book 1? Tolkien, did you start this naming parts books? No, Council of Elrond is in book 2. Okay, yeah, he's not in book 1. Part 1. Damn calling parts books. Bane of my existence. Anyways, the other book which I have started, which of course this is what I read first of the month, is Sailing to Sarantium by Guy Gavriel Kay, which I am on page 172, which is of course chapter 4, because goddammit Guy Gavriel Kay, why are your chapters so long? Unsurprisingly, I'm enjoying the ever-loving crap out of this. I don't think I'm enjoying the start quite. For how good the first 200 pages are, it'd be below Lions and Tigana, above Erebone and all the Fionavar books. This is much more Lions of Al-Rasan like so far, in that there's a lot of POVs, although there is really one central one. There's a lot of like political based fantasy. I really like Rome. This is set in like the Byzantine Empire, in the equivalent of what would be around like 600 AD, about a century after the fall of the Western Roman Empire. So the Byzantines are still pretty Roman, and Rome is probably my favorite like historical setting. I would love like a Punic Wars or a Crisis of the 3rd Century Guy Gavriel Kay book. That would have me unreasonably excited. But I'll take this for now. Really, really enjoying it so far. Anyways, after that I will be continuing with Memory, Sorrow, and Thorn with the Stone of Farewell, which is the second reasonable length book before we get to Two Green Angel Tower, which is 520,000 words, the famous 4-book trilogy by Tad Williams, kind of inspired by Lord of the Rings and inspired A Song of Ice and Fire. I enjoyed book 1 quite a lot, especially that part 3. Excited to get back to some of the characters. Tad's writing is obviously really good. He wouldn't be like in contention for my favorite prose writer, but he would be like in the A tier pretty solidly, especially when he's doing like stuff that's like atmospheric or scene setting. It's excellent. His dialogue is fantastic. Like the characters and different species and cultures feel so distinctive. The politics stuff is really good. It's good stuff. And then there is another buddy read that I'm going to hold up next. That buddy read is in Mike's Discord. This buddy read is in Alan's Discord, and I will be participating this time. I missed out on Red Rising, but it is The Unhewn Throne by Brian Staveley. I have no idea what this is about. I was just like, oh, it's a buddy read. I want to do more of these. It looked like y'all had a really good time with Red Rising. I'm like, I'm in for this one. So, The Emperor's Blade will be something I hope to read. Well, I definitely will read in February. And then I have a book club for my university that is fantasy and sci-fi. And for February, we are doing The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin, which worked out really well because I was going to read this anyways. Maybe not in February, but in the first half of the year for sure. Obviously, The Fifth Season is a super popular book, sold really well, has second person famously, but also is just supposed to be incredibly well written. I know it comes highly recommended from Jimmy Nuts from the Fantasy Network, who I think had it 4th on his top 10 book for 2021, and if you follow Jimmy, you know that top 10 list was pretty insanely stacked. And yeah, so I'm really excited for this. And that is the last of my scheduled / buddy reads. And that is going to take up most of the month. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with the remaining bit. But what I think I might do, it depends how much I like the first of these books, is I will almost definitely be reading The Hod King by Josiah Bancroft, the penultimate book in the Books of Babel, the quartet. And depending on how much I like this and whether I'm feeling it, I may go directly into The Fall of Babel by Josiah Bancroft, a very divisive book, but I like most things, so I'm excited to read it. I also may continue with The Black Company, with Silver Spike, I think is the next book I'm supposed to read. It's not next in the omnibus, but I've been told that's what I'm supposed to read next. Or I might randomly reread something. Who knows? Maybe I'll read Royal Assassin. Maybe I'll finally get to Lord of Chaos. I do want to continue rereading The Wheel of Time. It's just this month is so packed, and Lord of Chaos is 395,000 words, which is why it is a direct contradiction, but I'm going to say it anyways. I might reread Words of Radiance, which is just as long as Lord of Chaos, but I'll read Words of Radiance faster than I'll read Lord of Chaos, because I'll read Words of Radiance in 5 or 6 days, depending how busy I am, because when I start, I cannot stop with Words of Radiance. Okay, that is it for my TBR. I don't like these videos to be too long. Let me know if you guys are reading any of these or have read any of these, what you think about them. Do you think we are going to get a 1-star rant review from me? I don't think so. Definitely not going to with Sailing to Sarantium. We shall see about the others. I guess I have seen 1-star reviews for Fall of Babel, but I'm not that worried about it. These books really did get bigger for the last two. Like, Senlin Ascends is such like a thin book, and these last two, they're kind of thick. Especially Fall of Babel. That's a thick boy. Anyway, that is what I plan to read. I think I have a decent chance of following this plan. I mean, some of them I basically have to follow. I don't know the order that I'm going to do the buddy reads in. I think I might do The Emperor's Blades right after Sailing to Sarantium, just to kind of break up the fancier proses, whatever. That's not important. And then I think we'll do Stone of Farewell. But that is all I got. Bye, everyone.